All right. Good afternoon, beautiful people. This is your host, Matthew, from Day and Night Podcast. We got another good one for y'all. Yeah, this is damn it, doing it again, huh? We got another good one for y'all today. And this one is going to be one of Mark's babies. So as always, we thank y'all for watching. We want to welcome the new subscribers, and hopefully y'all enjoy the content. And we want to thank those that continue to watch. And yeah, so as always, beautiful people, your thoughts becomes your belief, and your belief becomes your reality. All right, so let's get into it, Mark.
Well, hello, everybody. Sunday fun day. Appreciate everybody that's following and watching. Same as Matt said, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'm just gonna keep saying this. Matt, I don't see you, by the way. I keep having multiple people say they watch it, but they don't want to leave a comment. So again, I implore you guys to leave a comment. You don't have to leave your name if you feel some type of way, but like I was telling my guy at work, it's a way of showing that you engage with the conversation and that it gives us better feedback instead of us two always talking and saying stuff. We want interaction so that way we get a better feel how other people are thinking about the subjects that we talk about. So just that I want to put that out there. But excuse me, this topic today, like Matt said, is my baby. If you want, say it that way. And the reason why I want to talk about this, when I was talking to a friend of mine, and we was talking about zodiac signs and how it defines, not I shouldn't say defines, but how it correlates with who you are. Now, I'm a firm believer that it's somewhat truth to the zodiac signs. And sometimes I feel like some people overblow it and they read too much into it and they put too much stock into zodiac signs on how and who they deal with. So it has its benefits and is as negatives as everything do. So this topic today is, does zodiac signs matter? And if they do, why? How important is it to you on zodiacs as far as interacting with other people, as far as relationships, or even on a friendship level? So we're going to dive right into it. So I didn't get a chance to do too much research because I've been working a lot. So I'm on be on the fly with this. So I looked it up, and now for one thing, and I know you know this, Matt. You got the two different types of zodiacs. You have the Chinese origin, and you have the Western zodiac, which is over here in the United States. The main difference between the Chinese zodiac signs is their origin and system. For one, the zodiac signs are based on the sun's location at the time of an individual's birth, whereas the Chinese zodiac is based on a 12-year cycle of different animals. Okay, both systems have 12 signs, right? But the animals in the Chinese zodiac are different from those in the Western. In the Chinese zodiac, one animal is assigned to each year for a 12-year cycle. That makes sense. So again, in the Chinese zodiac, one animal is assigned to each year for a 12-year cycle. Then into an animal by month, and then by day, and finally by hour. So basically, and then of course the Western definition, if you want to have a clear cut, is it's the same thing. Basically, like I just said, it's the part, it represents the different parts of the year in astrology, a sign of the zodiac that the sun passes through. A person's particular sign of the zodiac is the one that the sun was in when they was born. It is a belief, is astrology, that a person's personality can be predicted using their sign of the zodiac. So I just wanted to put that out there. Just, I'm sure a lot of people know the definition, but I just wanted to go by the definition this was by Webster. Now, so I'm gonna start with how I personally feel about it. For one, I never was really big on it. I never really put it and live my daily life as far as, well, I'm Aquarius, so Aquarius do this, Aquarius don't do that. We are passionate people. We're very affectionate. We are very unpredictable. And then I saw a friend sent me a link, and I sent it to you, man. I don't know if you even watched it because
Seen
it
it.
give you no feedback. Now, for me personally, I started laughing because to me, for most of what the guy was doing, he was kind of making fun of it. But a lot of things he was saying, I'm like, yeah, that's me to a T. I can definitely say I can identify on what he was saying about Aquariuses and just what other people tell me how when they say unpredictable, just meaning I spring something on you in a spur of the moment, and it's just like, damn, you weren't doing that yesterday. And we very emotional. I believe I'm very emotional, very caring, affectionate, but at the same time, when we done, we done. If I'm done with you, I'm done with you, and I move on without any hesitation, without no remorse or anything. So I'm gonna say that for the most part, I do believe that the zodiac signs do actually yoke well with who you are. But like I said, the problem I have with it is when we meet each other or meet an individual. And I had, for some reason, I keep meeting Tauruses. And not one have not yet to fail to tell me that Taurus and Aquarius don't usually link together. So I'm always like, well, why do we always wind up being with each other? But I always get told that. And we did date for a while, but it seemed like whenever something came up, see, this is why Tauruses and Aquarius don't mix. So that's basically where I'm going with this is, does it really matter? And how much does it matter? Because for me, if a person have different traits about them and you can deal with it, and if you're going to make that work with the person and make it work, but I don't feel like you should just primarily just wholeheartedly just base it on, oh, well, you Aquarius, I can't mess it, or you a Capricorn, and look at your notes and be like, well, Capricorn and Aquarius don't mix. Now, I can see when you reference it to see if that's going to be compatibility, and you feel like, well, see, this might be a challenge because we already don't mix just based off of the signs. But I've met some people that was where the signs say they don't match, and we hit it off perfectly. So that's where I come in and say that, yeah, there's some truth to it, but it's also been some people where their zodiac signs didn't even match who they say they were. And we, like I said, we hit it off. So I felt like it could be a hit or miss. It's kind of like a balance, I guess, 50-50, where you're going to get some people you can meet that's to a T to their zodiac, and definitely we don't mess well. Then it's somewhere, even though the zodiac sign would say that we don't mess well, we actually do. So I just feel like it's a 50-50. But I'm just curious on how other people feel about this, who out there, guys and listeners, are based your whole everything you date and who you deal with off of your zodiacs, or you just pretty much just don't even touch it at all. So I'm gonna let you say what you have to say, Matt, and then I'm gonna dive in a little bit more scenarios on how I feel about zodiac signs.
All right, so I appreciate it for allowing me to speak. No,
Yeah,
but so it is interesting. Now, like I didn't even think about that as far as having the Eastern definition or ideology of what zodiac signs are, excuse me, in the West. And so that's the first time I even heard that. But the thing that is interesting about the zodiac signs is that it is vastly different. Like you read it in one place and you read it somewhere else if you Google it, and it's totally different from the last one you just read. So I am heavily into zodiac signs, and I do believe it 100%. And I did watch the video that you sent me, and it was funny because I'm like, that's me 100%. It was like, it was not one thing that he said that was not me. So I definitely identify with everything that he said. And I was like, yep, that's me. So just to show you and everybody else how deeply I'm into zodiac signs and stuff like that, I have two really, really thick books. This one is the birthday, the secret language of birthdays with zodiac signs. It's like over 1,000 pages. Then I got this one as far as numerology, what kind of goes hand in hand with birthdays and zodiac signs. Then I got this other one. It's a real, real thick one, which is the relationship of languages between zodiacs and the different signs. So, Mark, I don't know if you watch The Airbender that was on Netflix.
Oh, hell of a movie. I watched it. Yeah.
And if anybody is kind of curious as far as, what the air sign is, like Aquarius is with air, and you got the earth, you got water, and then you got fire. So certain elements don't coincide with each other, and air, supposedly based off the zodiac signs, they're more compatible with Geminis than any other zodiac sign. Like being Aquarius is, we supposed to have more compatibility with the Gemini zodiac sign than any other ones, and then we're not supposed to be compatible with. I think Sagittarius is one of them. Taurus is one that we're supposed to be incompatible with because of the different elements. Like I said, we're air, and then the Taurus is, I believe, earth. So earth more so coincide with, more compatible with, I think it's what is it? Air, not air, water. And then air is supposed to be more compatible with fire. So it's real interesting if you really, really get deep, deep, deep into it. It could take you in many, many different ways. So I think some people tend to just focus on just one aspect of it. So I'm just going to read our zodiac sign. So February, Aquarius is very independent, very individual, or individuality relationships. They are intellectual and progressive partners who enjoy stimulating conversations and new ideas. They can be eccentric at times, but are also very loyal and caring. So when I read that, I said, that's me 100%, because I love stimulating conversation. I believe I'm intellectual. Somebody else may not, but I believe that I am. And just like what you said, as far as once you're done, or once I'm done, and I'll move on. So for me, I think it's not necessarily something that we should focus 100% on, but I do believe it's an aspect that should be considered. Like if you was going to have a whole bunch of different characteristics or elements looking at, as far as, okay, when I want to date somebody, these are the categories that I'm going to look at. I do believe that the zodiac sign should be a part of it. I think it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. And I don't believe that's something that should be solely 100%. I don't care about nothing else. If they are Taurus or if they are Sagittarius, I ain't dating them. That to me is it's kind of ludicrous, because like you said, you met some people that you identify with based off the zodiac signs. We're not supposed to be compatible. So that's why I believe that we should at least have it on the table, and at least look at it and consider it, but not 100%. That's the only thing I'm paying attention to.
Right. Yeah. So I find this interesting. So I'm going to ask you this, and please somebody else chime in. So this is the thing I'm on the fence with. Now, like you said about the zodiacs and all that and how it's compatible. Now, this is where I come to where I feel that some people that don't look at zodiac signs would read it, and then they literally base what they read and try to project themselves and say, okay, I'm gonna try to be like that, when naturally they didn't even do that because they never was focused on it. But once you read it and then they kind of think about it, like, oh, okay, maybe I am like that, and then they're gonna start portraying themselves and try to identify with that when they never really was like that before they even heard about the zodiac. So that's why I'm so, on the fence about this as well, because I feel like some people that's into it, like yourself, can be able to identify and use that as a gauge. But I'm speaking primarily on some people that don't deal with it, but once they do hear it, then they feel like, oh, okay, I need to change up how I am because the zodiac sign says this, and this about me, and I need to change up. So that's where I feel like if you already are who you are, and even though your zodiac sign said this about you, if you wasn't that before, why would you change now just because now you see what it actually says about you? And I'll be honest. I mean, I've been looking at different other people's zodiacs, and I talked to them, and for the most part, a lot of people agree that their zodiac size correlates to who they are as an individual. So like I said earlier, I think it's 50-50. But when you were saying, like I was saying earlier, about when people 100% base it on that, that was a good point when you made about that should be a criteria that we look at when we meet somebody is what zodiac sign are they?
Mhm.
Because if this the personality that they are, and this is kind of who I don't like, then I shouldn't even take that chance because it's going to be conflict at some point. But then, like I was saying earlier, I feel like you should really get to know the person and don't base it off of zodiac because that individual could be parts of it, but not all of it. And there's certain things that they do have traits. It might be something that's tolerable where you can deal with it. But like I was saying, I've met dated some women where they literally was like, okay, what sign are you? And he looked it up. He's like, I don't know if this is gonna work because you Aquarius is this, and I'm that, and then we made it and tried to take an attempt to date, and it didn't work out. And then she, of course, said, "See, I told you, it's because our signs weren't meant to be together. That's the reason why we wasn't going to mesh well." So I was like, "Okay, if that's how you feel, I just let it go at that." But I felt like it could have worked if we really wanted to. But I just think that individual, she was just so hard set on what the zodiac sign was that she didn't even want to make it an opportunity to try to make it work because we had good time together. It wasn't like we was always arguing or getting in each other. It was just certain things we didn't agree. But I think that's anybody in a relationship. When you meet somebody, you're not going to be on the same page with everything. I mean, we had some compatibility, so I felt like it was a chance we could have made it. But when she read the signs, that was a deal breaker. She's like, "Oh, that's it. I can't do it." So I said, "Good luck with finding your right zodiac." So for me, like I said, I'm both ways. I'm swayed to the right and the left with that. Now I'm gonna look at the Chinese because you know this already. For the Chinese, they go by year. So
Mhm.
looking at 1973, we are ox for the Aquarius. Now I'm trying to look up the definition because the ox I think is kind of different from what you read for us
Mhm.
on Aquarius. So that's where I'm coming to the fence where because it's Chinese, so do people we not pay attention to it because most people like, well, that's a Chinese culture, so we don't really need to follow that. But if it says something different about the compatibility of certain zodiacs, which one would you kind of sway to? Which one would you believe would be the one that would be more feasible for you to date? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because the Chinese is so different from the Western, how would you base it, or why would you base it off of one over the other one? And that's the question I pose to everybody. I guess it all falls down to belief on what you believe makes fits to you as far as the definition. So I'm gonna let you answer that. I'm gonna keep looking it up because I see the ox, but I'm trying to look at the definition for ox for Aquarius.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought that up. For me personally, I tend to focus more because I'm into astrology and stuff like that. So the one that I pay attention to is more or less based off of astrology, the
Mm-hmm.
different moon cycles, and so when a person is born matters. The time they was born matters. That's why they
Right.
write it down. Like a lot of people don't think about this. I don't know if you ever thought about it. When a child is born, why do they write down the time? Now they don't go as far as putting the degrees and stuff like that, but they actually put down the time. So, like being that we're twins, although we're twins, the time that I was born and the cycle that I was born under during that time, that's
Mm.
what makes us different. Is because being
Yes.
that I'm 10 minutes earlier, I was born
Yes.
under a certain time period and so forth. And you was 10 minutes later. So that's where the vast difference is as far as personalities and beliefs and
Right.
sometimes stuff like that comes in because of the time and that the angle and the location of the earth as it was on its axis when we was born. So anyway, to try to answer that question, that's what I pay attention to is the astrology part of it. So that's why I
Right.
tend to um, lean towards that type when it comes to zodiac signs. Like for us, Aquarius, um, like I said, our element is air, our season is midwinter, and our symbol is a water bearer, and our mode is thought. And the ruler is Uranus. Now, this is where it comes interesting, is because Tauruses fall under the same type of ruler, which is Uranus. So depending on when an individual was born, like I said, the aligning, all that stuff can basically determine how that individual personality is going to be developed.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said that some people don't fall under exactly what the zodiac sign says. It may not be 100%, but there are certain aspects is 100% that they fall under what the zodiac sign is saying. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm one of those. If I see the person is a certain zodiac sign, I tend to stay away. Now, yeah. I don't know if you remember, like Jay, he's a Virgo. All the Virgos that I know, I'm not saying he was arrogant, but most of the Virgos are very strong-willed. Most of them are leaders. Most of them are like, if it's not my way, it's no way at all. And a lot of the Virgos that I know are like that. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing when it comes to like some of the Sagittariuses, they're kind of stubborn. I wouldn't say arrogant, but they kind of like heady a little bit. You know, mm-hmm. They're risk takers and stuff like that. So, like I said, it may not be every aspect of what the zodiac sign says about that person, but there are going to be some that they identify with. Mm-hmm. And to me, that should be something, like I said before, that should be something that an individual should look at. Because if you know you're a certain type of way and you don't mix well with certain type of people, even though they may have other characteristics and things that you like, again, that should be something that's taken into consideration. Not like, well, I can't date them because that person is a Aries and I just don't get along with Aries. Mm-hmm. Without even getting to know the person and seeing who they truly are. That I wouldn't do. But again, I would still put a little note and say, okay, these are the type of people that Aries are. These are the things, the characteristics and stuff that they have. So let me just pay more close attention. And if those red flags start coming up, then that's time for me to move forward.
Right. Man, that's crazy. You hit the nail on the head when you said that about the time, because my friend was telling me that. It brought that to my attention about that's why y'all different as twins. She said word for word what you just mentioned about because of the time that we was born, it plays a difference on how we are, and that's why we are different, even though we are twins. So yeah, that's crazy. And she brought that to my attention. So I was like, wow, okay. So I'm trying to blow this up. And I don't think that I can. And I don't have my
I just want to read a comment real quick while you're looking at that.
Yeah.
So Christina, she said that she's an Aquarius. So like I said, I believe likes attract the energy and stuff. There's a reason why you was attracted to us. Part of it, not saying 100%, but part of it is because we share the same similarities as far as in beliefs, how we conduct ourselves. So we're on that same frequency when it comes to certain things like that. Now, this is the catch to it, though, because every Aquarius, well, every zodiac sign has different phases to it. You know, you got the beginning of the 30 days, you got mid, and then you have the latter of it. So some people fall under the cusp. Like for February, Aquarius start on January 20th. So that's the first phase of Aquarius. The second phase starts February, I think it's 3rd up until March the 10th. So those are the second phases of Aquarius. And that's what we fall under. We're the second phase of Aquarius. So we're going to be somewhat different from the first phase of Aquarius, but we still share some of the same characteristics, if that makes sense. Because most Aquariuses I know, most of them, I guess you want to say in a certain type of way, are loners. We are very direct. I won't say impatient, but we have standards that we enforce and we believe in and we stand on them. And we're very eccentric. Every Aquarius I know is eccentric. I have yet to meet one that's not. Okay, so I got another comment. I don't recognize this person, so I want to Read it. Okay, so we are a mix of energy. I am a Taurus sun, Leo, moon, and Genesis rising, Venus, Mars. Now what? So no offense, but that's what they call when somebody is mixed with a whole bunch of different ethnicities and stuff like that, a mutt.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that in a degrading way,
Right. Yeah.
but yeah, that's a lot. So basically, you can actually have an experience and embody a lot of those moon phases and characteristics. So at a certain point of your life or time period, whatever timeline you're on, you may be a certain type of way. Or another time point in your life, if you're on a different timeline, you may display certain characteristics. So that's how I see it. Now, everybody don't have their belief as far as how that works, but that's how I see it. That's how it makes sense to me, is that we can actually embody some of those characteristics depending on the timeline that we're on and depending on what moon phase we're on or in, so forth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read the ox for the Chinese, and I don't think most people follow Chinese, like you said, they more the astrology. But this is just to give you a different perspective of the different symbols and how they represent. So the ox, like I said, 1973 is us. The personality oxes are down to earth, have excellent memories, love spending time in nature, and are skilled multitaskers, thought of as industrious and persistent.
Yeah.
Okay. They generally quiet and not the most expressive emotionally.
Yeah.
Compatibility. Oxes are huh?
I said that's 100% me.
Okay. Then it says oxes are most compatible with rats and least compatible with goats. Now,
Well, what is that?
Rats are birth years of 36, 48, 1960, 72, 84, 96, 2008, and 2020.
Wait,
So
what sign
anybody
is that?
born in 72, that's around our age. And if anybody born 84, it doesn't, see, that's what the difference between that zodiacs for the Chinese.
Yeah,
They don't tell you by the month, it's just the year. And
yeah.
their personality rats are self-starters who have extraordinarily sharp communication skills. They love being involved in the community and are both detailed and oriented and artistic.
Like
Sensitive
a
and
Virgo.
intuitive, they are risk averse and tend to be quite organized. Compatibility are most compatible with oxes and least compatible with horses. So again, you got to go by the birth. Huh?
I said, you got me on that one. I don't know what the horse is and the rat.
Well, I'm about to read. The goat is the other one that we are compatible with. Now, the birth years are 55, 67, 79, 91, 2003, 2015, and 2027, which is not even here yet. But the personality of a goat is make new friends effortlessly. Dreamers were born with a gift for creative pursuits and tend to be incredibly perceptive and nurturing. They are peacemakers who will prefer not to rock the boat, patient, polite, and persuasive. They possess a quiet determination to achieve even the loftiest goals. Compatibilities are most compatible with oxes, which is us. So that's why I just wanted to read that because, like I said, I just wanted to show the difference. And it's not that much difference. But, that's what I'm saying. How do you determine, like you said, you choose astrology, you said it perfectly, but I'm just wondering about other people, if they even look into the Chinese zodiac. I was just curious. So that's why I did it, because I wanted to see how would that translate between the two.
All right, so KJ says she's a rat. So I guess a rat is a Taurus.
Oh, for real? Well, she was born in what?
72.
Okay, then yeah, that's basically how you compare it by the year, and then you look at the Western zodiac, and that's how you compare. Yeah. But see, but they say in the Western we don't compete with
That's what
Tauruses.
I'm saying. Depends on the source is going to determine. So it's like you
Yeah.
said, it's basically what you choose to believe in. If you
Yeah.
believe in the Chinese,
Right.
then you'll be compatible with a rat or a Taurus. But if you
Right.
believe in the more the astrology side of it, then you're not going to be believing that you're compatible
Right.
with that. So
Right.
it just like everything else is
Yeah.
relative. You know, it
Right.
just depends on what that person decides to believe in.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that you
And let
brought up
me
a good
ask you,
point.
huh?
Actually, you brought up a good point earlier
Yeah.
as far as like, so if you have one partner that believes in the Eastern side and you got one that believes in the
Right.
Western,
Hmm.
then it's like they can probably be meant to be together. That could be your true soulmate, and
Right.
they'll never meet because they solely 100% believing in one ideology opposed to the other one, and then they'll miss it.
Right.
So that's a good point as far as like it's not a good idea to put all your eggs in a basket, so to speak,
Right.
on one belief system and not look
Right.
at everything else.
Yeah, because for me, when I read the Aquarius for the Chinese and then for the Western, I see a lot of similarities. So I could see where that's definitely who we are. So
Right.
I would say, hey, we could be compatible with someone that normally wouldn't be because it'd be certain, like I said earlier, it'd be certain traits that that person can carry that will correlate with the Chinese, and then you have some that won't with the Western. So to me, it's going to be how you really compat with the person that you with. I'm
Right.
trying to say be compatible is what I'm trying to say. So to me, I mean, I'm not trying to say you got to pick one and choose one, but I just basically feel like, yeah, we should keep that in the back of our mind because I think that does play an important part. But if you generally love this person, y'all hitting it off, y'all mesh well, y'all compliment each other, and your zodiac ain't compatible, who cares? Honestly, I know that sounds like, well, that's kind of, I'm not into astrology like you are. So that's why I'm saying that. But I just feel like if you doing well, I guess the sense is
Right.
why change something that's not broke. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You
Yeah.
know, now one of those people, and I guess I'm so hard set on this because I've dealt with so many individuals where they every day is what Libra does this, and this is how Libras are. And I'm just like, okay, enough with that. I get it. You
Right.
keep saying that Libra this, Libra that, and that's why I feel like they just pretty much just cash in on everything on their sign, which is okay. But to me, that could be redundant if you just using that for every aspect of life. And well, this is what Libras do, because Libras like this, and Libras don't play. I'm like, okay, why can't you just say this is how I am?
Mhm.
And instead of, and that's teachers though. I'm not saying you got to change how you are, but I'm just trying to figure out why do some people do that. And if any of y'all out there do that, give me a reason why. I'm just curious. Not
Right.
saying you have to explain yourself to me, but I'm just curious to see why would you use that for everyday life on. Well, I'm Aquarius, so Aquarius is unpredictable. Well, I'm Aquarius, so I don't like talking to people. You know, I just feel like at some
Well,
point
see,
it's a lot. You know?
yeah, see, I do that, but I don't do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like I did it just yesterday, and somebody said something, and I was like, "Well, I can't help it. I'm an Aquarius." So
Right.
it's not that I don't lean on it for every go-to or every situation as like an excuse,
Right.
but I do lean on it just for the simple fact that because I believe in energy and stuff like that,
Hmm.
those zodiac signs carry a particular energy. So if
Right.
I'm moving in that energy, then I will kind of, always bring it up. And I can't speak for anybody else, but if anybody believes that, what I do, then
Hmm.
more so those are the ones that's constantly saying that is because one, they believe everything is energy. So believing in energy, you're going to move in that space,
Right.
and there's some people I know, like you said, that literally move off of their horoscope.
Right.
And if the horoscope is saying that they're supposed to do something or act a certain way or be careful, and they let that dictate their day. Now it
Mm.
gets down to the science as far as with the colors. So it gets
Right.
deep.
And depending on what day it is, you should wear a certain color because it's going to present a certain type of energy. And that each day presents a certain type of energy because, again, we're always in different moon phases and different phases. Like right now, we're in the age of Aquarius. So people that truly believe that is going to move in that space.
So let me ask y'all this. Damn it, I just lost my train of thought. I was thinking about it as you was talking. So when we say, okay, I'm basing off the zodiac, when do we say that, okay, we just, that's what I was going to say. This, to me, tell me if you feel like this is overreaching or it has some valid point to it. Do you feel like this could be a part of separatism in a sense? Meaning it's another way of separating everybody. And I'm speaking hypothetically, if we all literally just went around and based who we interact with off of our signs, now that could be a good thing or bad thing, because to me, that's like birds of a feather flocks together or guilty by association. Any one of those analogies you want to use, like say, for instance, if I'm sit down and I'm just tedious about, okay, I'm Aquarius, these are the people that I need to affiliate with. I'm going to be better to mesh well. That's the only people I'm going to identify and I'm going to associate with. Anybody outside of that, I ain't functioning with them. And if everybody did that, wouldn't that be kind of like separating and separatism and being dividing? Because I'm not dealing with you because you are a Libra. I ain't dealing with you because you are Taurus. I'm only dealing with Capricorns and Geminis. Isn't that kind of like separating in a sense? That is that okay if that's what it meant to be? To me, I feel like it would be, but then at the same time, I can see where we kind of excluding people based off of their signs, and that to me is separating, and that's segregation in a sense. But like I said, that don't have to be negative, but it could be.
You on it. You brought up a good point because I know some people like, don't mess with them. They're Aquarius. You gotta stay away from them. So in a sense, that is like prejudging a person. And in a sense, it is separatism. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm like that. But again, I don't place the title of that zodiac sign on it. I look at it as far as energy wise.
Energy, yeah.
That person so happen to be a certain sign,
right?
That sign. But I'm not just particularly singling out. I don't mess with Capricorns. Well, I do kind of stay away from Virgos, but but yeah, in a sense, that is kind of separatism. That's why I try my best. I hate labels and stuff. To me, that's what causes separatism. For me, this is not for anybody else, but for me, because I move off of energy, I feel as though that's not like creating separatism or trying to be separate. I just choose not to put my energy in that space, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because you protected your energy and you don't want to taint it with negative. And so that makes a whole lot of sense.
Right.
That I'm glad that's the way you broke it down, because that makes sense. So I want to hear other people say and chime in if they feel the same way. Now, don't piggyback off of Matt just because you like what he said. Be honest on how you feel about it. But that's a good way to put that based off your energy. And if that person is not good energy, then I don't blame you. I wouldn't affiliate with them either. But this is solely on individuals that do that. That literally, this person, like you just said, I don't fuck with Virgos because and I know a couple people that's like that. And I find myself starting to get like that to an extent.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring this up and talk about it today, because when I was talking to my friend, we had a deep conversation and we was back and forth about signs and compatibility, and that's why I was like, you know what, I want to talk about this. I want to see what other people mindset is and what they believe on that, because some people don't even pay attention. I have some friends that don't even care about the zodiac, and they don't even react to it. Then I have some that's overzealous with it, So that's why I wanted to see other viewers out there that's listening and see what they have to say.
Okay, so how about this? If you have a certain particular people, let's say you went somewhere, you went to Colorado, you went to Oklahoma, you went to Kansas, and you hung around some people And this is before you find out what their sign is. And they all display the same type of characteristics and personality.
Right.
And then later on, you find out and say, okay, every last one of them was a Leo.
Mm-hmm.
So would you still look at it as it's kind of like it's no real validity to it because it's what somebody is telling you
Right.
somebody's supposed to be based off of their zodiac sign? Or would you say, okay, all these people acted like that in every different state, so it has to be truth to it. And it wasn't by coincidence.
But you saying that in a negative way they had, or is it positive?
No, I'm not saying negative. They just all displayed the same type of personality and characteristics. And you didn't know what their zodiac sign was in the beginning, but then later on you find out, okay, every last one of them was a Leo. Right. Would you still look at it as, okay, that's just coincidence? Or you say, okay, there's some validity to it, that these certain type of signs, people really do, carry themselves and have those characteristics?
Yeah, that's a good point. A hell of a point. It may sound like I'm contradicting myself, but at this point, I probably would say, okay, some validity to it. I get it because it matches. It makes sense. It defines who that person is by what they did, the way they acted, and the definition of it. It definitely explains them. So that would be the best way for me to say, okay, I buy in. Is if I don't read anything and I experience it first, and then I go back and read it, and then it corresponds, and I'm like, okay, it's truth to it because I didn't know beforehand, and everything that definition said later, it represented them. Then I fall and be like, okay, I believe it. I'm a believer now, and that's what I'm saying when I saw that clip that my friend sent me with Aquariuses. That's when I was more like, wow. And this dude was making fun with it, but Aquarius, and I was just like, this dude was on point on everything. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's some truth to it. Then I started reading about our zodiac, and I'm like, okay, that does describe me. So now, like I said, that's why I say I'm on the fence with it, because I do agree with it. I do believe the zodiacs kind of define who you are. I'm just don't like when individuals just base their whole life on it. And you made a good point where you got to have that as an option so you have something to reference off of, because you don't want to be just ignorant to it when you see that, okay, this person is this, and I know this is not what I like. Why am I going to still go and approach this person knowing this is something I normally wouldn't affiliate with? So that's where I'll be like, okay, yeah, you do need to kind of use that as a gauge nowadays, because it has some valid merit to it. Mm-hmm. And before I wasn't into it, but now that I've been doing my research, yeah, I will sit here and say that. But like I said, I do believe you got to have a little bit of calmness and not be too overzealous with it, because I have, like I said, some individuals that I know that just, it's kind of annoying because everything is based literally off of that. And it's like, okay, I get it, but just let's take one day and not say, well, I'm this because of this, because of my sign, so, and that's what they are. I respect it, but it's just at the same time, like, okay, can you not say it one day? But yeah.
Okay, I'm more
question. Yeah.
So KJ says, I think you should figure each person and their heart. Each person has had different life experiences that may make them different than their zodiac signs. I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, I think more so with the whole zodiac thing, it's the core as far as who that person is. Now, of course, life is going to dictate as far as who you become and how you navigate that. But the core of who that person is what the zodiac sign is. So the best way I can look at it is like if you was building a house, the foundation is the first thing that's built. And then everything else is put on top of it. So you can tear the house down and rebuild it in a different way. But that foundation is never going to change because the foundation is what's the beginning of everything. So yeah, you can add on stuff. and change it up. But at the end of the day, the core of who you are is still going to be the same. And it's still going to be little tendencies and stuff that comes out. It's up, yep, that's what them Tauruses do. Yep, that's what them damn Virgos do. That's what them Aquariuses do. Because that's who we are by our core nature, if that makes sense. So I'm just curious, AJ, I'm AJ, KJ, does that make sense with you?
You know,
what do you
funny.
think about that?
Hey, I was just sitting here thinking, you know who did that a lot? She was really notorious for that. I want to see if you know who I'm talking about. We was growing up.
Huh?
When we was growing up, somebody individually used to do that. That damn Virgos is like that. It's nothing but a Virgo. Yeah. Yeah. Mom was big on that. Remember, she always blamed it on the sign. Whatever somebody did, those Virgos. Remember, she'd be on Jay all the time. Virgos. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at. And I know I'm kind of sitting on it right now. But KJ made a good point about you got to do that. So I agree with you, and I agree with KJ about you do have to treat the individual and kind of base it off of that. Because, again, I'm beating a dead horse. Can we be a prisoner of our zodiac? Meaning, if we read so much into it, we kind of allow it to have us be biased towards people because of that zodiac, because what it says. Like you were saying, like a Leo is this, and you look at it, you read it, and you be like, see, that's why I'm fucking with Leos, because everybody that dealt with in the past was this, and that. So now you're going to prejudge any Leo you meet before you can give them opportunity. Let's say that Leo you meet don't even read zodiacs or pay attention to it, and they don't follow it, so they not like it, but you won't even give them an opportunity because you're literally basing it off of your past experience and because the sign says that we're not compatible. So I know we already spoke on that, but I think that I'm just commenting that that's where I think is dangerous grounds, is where we have to be careful. We have to be wise about it, of course. Again, use that as a gauge to say, okay, well, Leos normally, typically, they like this, they arrogant or impulsive, whatever. Just hypothetically, I don't know that's the exact definition. I'm just saying that for example. So I ain't gonna mess with no Leos because the last Leo I dealt with, she was a mess. So I'm not even giving her the chance. So I think that could be dangerous, but again, it could save you because why go through the heartache again if you already know, like you said, it's validity to a lot of these signs and how we are. But I just think some of us are prisoners of it.
So let me ask you this: like, if you had a chart and you say, okay, the next person that I'm gonna be in a relationship with, these are the things that I'm looking for. This is what I want their core to be, their foundation. So you on to the zodiac. You went through everything else, checked it off. Now you got the zodiac. Do you see anything wrong with saying, okay, Taurus values stability and security in relationships? They are loyal and dependable partners who enjoy their finer things in life. They can be stubborn at times, very stubborn, but are also very loving and devoted. So I know a Taurus, and Taurus has dated them, and a lot of that is true. So I'm going to go to Aries. Aries is individuals are known for their passion and assertiveness in relationships. They enjoy excitement and adventure and appreciate partners who can keep up with their fast-paced life. So depending on who you are, is it wrong to look at all the zodiacs and say, okay, this zodiac is comparable to me, and they mark off everything else that I want in a partner? And now to top it off, I want to make sure that the zodiac, who they are, who their core personality is, and how they move, and the energy that they possess, that's what I'm looking for. Not like basing the whole relationship off of, but just, okay, I want that to be part of it as well.
No, actually, I think, I'm going to have to concur on that one and be like, yeah, I agree with that, because I'm sitting here thinking as you were saying that, I think that would save a lot of heartache when we go to relationships and we all want to bash them if we didn't do the necessary things, and some people may think that's tedious or who does that, but sometimes that's what we need to do to protect ourselves and make sure we are dealing on being with the right person. So I agree with that 100%, because that's just like some people that's superficial, that want to date somebody they built or they look a certain way or they have this nice car or they have this X amount of money or they got to have this type of job. So we base people off of that, which is more superficial, then why can't we base it off of something like you said, which is more core of the personality of a person, which to me is more important. So yeah, I agree that yeah, we need to pay attention to that and actually look at that as something to say, hey, I need to think about this because not me, but just saying there's some people out there that base dating people off of status. You know, who that's not right. That's being superficial. So they could do that. Then you damn sure should be able to sit down and look at a zodiac and see, does this person mesh well with my character? Because again, that's what's going to be the most important thing is, can you coexist with each other? You know, so I think, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I agree with that one. I definitely agree with that one.
Okay. So I just, no. So I think this one is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
It's not too much, much more you can really speak on is because
right. Yeah.
Like everything else, everything is relative, is based off of that individual, their perceptions and stuff like that and their beliefs. I don't think there is no right or wrong to it.
No.
Now, as far as the imbalance, like everything else, somebody just 100% solely, like I said before, that's definitely there's something wrong with that. But as far as just adding it to and just having it be a balance and just having this something as a criteria, I'm 100% with it because I do that. I do look at zodiacs and stuff like that, and like I said earlier, I do move a certain type of way depending on who they are. But it's again more so based off the energy because those zodiacs do possess a certain energy because they're born at a certain time of the year. And that certain energy is present during that time.
Yes, I agree. So I'm gonna close it with pretty much somewhat echoing what you just said. Yeah, we gotta. Everybody's gonna have their opinion on this, so it's like you said, it's relative. I feel like it's no right or wrong. Again, I wanted to talk about this because I wanted to see where they feel about zodiacs. But I feel like it's something that I'm gonna start doing a little bit more of because before, like I said, I wasn't too much into it. But now that I am, I can see where it does help and it makes a difference on who and how you interact with people. I'm not saying totally judge a person off of it, but it should be something that you put in there to look at, to reference, to say, hey, am I or should I deal with this person? So zodiac signs is important. There's a reason why we have them. So I think everybody should take some kind of notes on it, seriousness to it, and just utilize it to your benefit. On that note, but I'm gonna close with a quote a day. So I've been doing this at work. I just feel like it's a good morale to do it. I just I've been posting it on my Facebook and Instagram, and also have an app for it. So the quote of the day, this one says, sometimes a poor past turns out to be the best investment in a promising future. So that's today's quote. So I'm gonna read it one more time. Sometimes a poor past turns out to be the best investment in your promising future. So
I can dig it. Okay. So my quote is, as always, your thoughts becomes your belief, and your belief becomes your reality. So with that, until next time, beautiful people, continue to watch, comment if you can, share if you can. Y'all have a beautiful day and a good weekend. Until next week, love, light, and peace. We out.